I am super excited to be back with you from a much needed time of rest and reflection. Today we are speaking about dealing with the unknown. Uncertainty can be a bit daunting if we are ill-equipped with insight on what it is and what we're supposed to do in it. Tune in for some life tips and tools to store in your life kit on how to live your way through moments of the unknown, right here on LifeClub. I'm Tashima Jones. Welcome to LifeClub. I genuinely believe personal development unlocks the door to the abundant and wonderful life we all already have. I also believe we must be intentional about seeking out that life in order to find and fulfill it. I am so grateful your journey of discovery has led you all the way here. Let's keep moving forward together. Once again, welcome to Life Club with me, Tashima Jones. Welcome. This is Life Club with me, Tashima Jones. I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back. Super excited to be back home. Today, you're going to get another installment of LifeSessions, and we are speaking about dealing with the unknown. The unknown can be a very, very scary place, a very, very scary thought. It's like walking into a huge unfamiliar building with no lights on and confused about which direction we should go in and what lies ahead. Ambiguity is oftentimes the root cause of procrastination, worry, and doubt. It stunts our growth and prevents us from moving forward. A lot of us have checklists of the future, and some of us don't even plan because of fear of the unknown. We have to understand the truth about uncertainty, and then and only then will we be able to move forward. So I plan to give you some tips and tools in your life kit to move forward in this space called uncertainty. So point number one, or tip tool number one, is recognizing and acknowledging that every single day is uncertain. Like, let that sink in. Every single day is uncertain. Although I knew that I would be here with the show, or at least I planned to be here with the show, I didn't know that at 1:10 p.m. that I would be saying these very exact words. It's not even everything that I wrote down in my show notes. So that is just a small example of the realness of uncertainty and how much we face it every single day of our lives. We have to get comfortable with uncertainty. We have to understand that the same way we didn't have control over the day that we were born, the precise minute, the parents that we were born to, the location of our birth, it's the same reality that we face every single day. And we got to breathe on that. We really, really have to take a moment and see and like really think about that reality that every single day, crossing the street, getting up, what you're going to eat, doing all these things, the hustle and bustle of life is always uncertain. And sometimes when we are hoping, wishing, and praying for something or an outcome or an event, we tend to think that we have some way of knowing exactly how things are going to happen. So again, tip tool point number one, recognizing and acknowledging that every single day is uncertain. And when we really face uncertainty, we recognize that there is nothing to fear because we make it through countless moments of not knowing each and every day. If you are a parent, you should be a pro at uncertainty. Raising a child is one of the most, I want to say, challenging, yet the most rewarding experiences that one could ever have, because you're literally watching a human being form and develop and come to be right before your eyes. And any mothers out there, you are like the real MVP, if you will. And understanding that you feel this baby growing on the inside of you. And with each and every moment that passes by, there's this developmental process that is occurring right inside of you. And you don't know what that baby's going to look like. You don't know what that baby's going to sound like. You don't know the color of that child's hair, eyes. You might have some idea, but you know what it's like to go from imagining your child to actually seeing your child. So over that process of being pregnant and carrying this child in your womb for 9 months, and imagining how that child's face would look and how that child would sound when they laugh or when they cry, how their hands are going to look, how their feet are going to look. Like, there is this anticipation of this child's birth. And that, to me, is that's the greatest picture of what uncertainty looks like. And we have options on how we spend that moment of uncertainty. We have options on how we spend that moment of pregnancy. And this could be giving birth to anything, to a vision, to a marriage, to a family, to a trip across the sea, whatever it is that you are in the process of developing on the inside of you, whatever it is that you're cultivating on the inside of you. Having this moment of uncertainty gives you options on how you choose to spend that time. Now, we can spend that time of uncertainty in fear, in anxiety, and in depression and confusion, or we could spend that time in anticipation and rest and faith and excitement. And I'm sure you know which one you should choose, but unfortunately, many of us don't choose to spend this moment, this space of time in uncertainty and in a fulfilling way. So I'm a firm believer in, this idea of gardening and planting and how you have to provide the seed some good soil before you even start to plant and before you even start to sow it. So one of the issues with us not waiting and not being still in these moments of uncertainty is our past. And some of us, even our present. But most often, our past is what's influencing or infecting our present moment. And our present moment is only the philosophy of which we see it. So we have to dig up the weeds that have been planted in our soil, aka our mind and our heart, over time. Now, the reality of it is this: you cannot change the past. You can only move forward from it. And that's a really, really great thing. You can't even go backwards. So that's the blessing in the past, is knowing that you can move forward. This too shall pass. You can breathe through those moments that have occurred in your life that may have been unfavorable. One of the ways to actually deal with the past is just simply forgiving it. And you don't have to go to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, every Mary, Sue, and Jane to ask for or extend an apology to. You don't have to go back, you don't have to hear somebody say sorry. And that person doesn't necessarily have to hear you say sorry. But in your mind, in your being, in the core of your soul and who you are, you have the opportunity to forgive. And forgive, a wise young man once told me, isn't saying that the offense was okay. It's saying that you're not going to hold it against the person. And that really changed my life and changed my mind on how I see forgiveness, because it truly is a spiritual act. it really is a spiritual act to say that I'm going to let this go, although it may have hurt me, although it may have disappointed me. I'm going to really surrender this. Now, an amazing way of surrender for me is always looking at the silver lining, or the lesson that you have received from that hurt or from that pain. And sometimes you're so hurt and so disappointed that you don't even want to, or there's no desire to really look at this thing as a good thing or as a blessing. But in order to get to graduation, you have to go through the classroom. You have to stay in the classroom. And a lot of us are getting left back in this area of forgiveness. I mean, I just have to say it. You have done the second grade over like 32 times. And the reality of it is that in order to move forward, you have to let go of the past. I wrote about how to get unstuck on tashimajones.com, shameless plugs, but yeah. I wrote about how to get unstuck, and oftentimes we see ourselves as being stuck, but the reality of it is that there are some emotions that are stuck in us, and emotion is energy in motion, and we are blocked up. Some of us are constipated with negative emotions. We really, really, really need to drink some apple cider vinegar and let it go. I'm just saying, we have to allow the hurt, the pain, the disappointment, the anger, the frustration, the confusion, and everything that is negative, aka low energy. We have to allow those things to move through us, to catch us up to speed and where we are in this present moment. You have to do that. You will keep running around the same mountain. You will continue to be stuck in the same valley. You will continue to kiss the same frogs if you don't allow yourself to forgive those things that hurt you, and forgive those things that may have tarnished you. Forgive those things that may have taken away your innocence. You and only you have to forgive, and even forgiving yourself. It is so vital, so important for us to really get over our old ways. You have to recognize that you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of times we hold on to guilt, and we hold on to shame, and we hold on to these negative vibrations because of the things that we've done. And sometimes we are so much more I guess it's so much easier sometimes to forgive others than it is to forgive ourselves. But we have to extend that same grace to that person who hurt us, even if that person was us. We have to let go. Dealing with uncertainty is, again, a space in time where you are unaware of what the future holds. And the only way to make it through uncertainty, because uncertainty is not the final thing. Uncertainty is not the final thing. It's just the moment in time between asking, praying, desiring, or starting something, and the time that it actually manifests, or the time that it actually comes true. That is what uncertainty is. It's just a space in time. And I'm not going to really get into time because that's like a whole nother level. And I might speak about it in my second point. But the reality of it is that uncertainty is just a space in time from where we have asked for a thing, prayed for a thing, started a thing, planted a thing. And then between that time and then that moment where it actually comes true, where it actually manifests in the natural. And the way in which we cope over that space and time of uncertainty is either resting or fretting. And you have to choose. We're Neo and we're Morpheus. We in the building. We sitting in our chairs. I'm holding out these pills to you, and you have to choose which one you're going to take. And a lot of us get trapped in this cycle of staying in uncertainty because we haven't forgiven the past. And when we forgive the past, we are able to take that pill of rest and of faith and cope and maintain and wait it out and look forward to this thing happening in excitement and in joy and in pleasure. And again, I am no stranger to waiting. I am no stranger to uncertainty. I have been that person that spirit was like, go to this place where I'm going to show you, but he won't even show you the place. Yeah, that would be me. So I totally get what it's like to sit in a space of uncertainty, to sit in a space of really relying on the things that we haven't seen yet, to actually get us through these moments of uncertainty. So once you choose how you're going to spend your moment of uncertainty, you move forward. Now, the other side of uncertainty is our ability to control things. Yeah, I am a recovering control freak, I must say. And it is something that stunts our growth so much. Again, going back to the day we were born, I did not know that I would be born on April 5th, 1983 at 10:20 a.m. I really didn't have any control over that. I didn't know who my mom and dad were. I didn't know where I would live once I left the hospital. I didn't know what nurse was going to burp me and change my diaper. I didn't know any of those things. And I'm quite sure you didn't know either. And we have to, again, breathe on that. We have to seal out on that. We have to really take that into consideration, because we were never meant to do it alone. We were never meant to do it alone. We were never meant to come into this earth and control our every direction, our every step. We were never meant to be here and do this by ourselves. And some of us are carrying the world on our shoulders, missing everything that is right in front of us, because we have this idea of independence, and we have this idea of doing things yourself and not waiting for anybody, not answering to anybody, being this CEO, being this entrepreneur, being your own boss, being self-made, man-made, all this. We were never meant to live this life alone. And the reality of it, and this is like mind-blowing in itself, you didn't get here alone. Like, two people had to come together to make you. So what makes you think that you're going to move forward by yourself? You have to stop power tripping. I repeat, you have to stop power tripping. You have to understand that you were never meant to do this on your own. And when all of the human beings around you leave you, you are still left with spirit as source, which is the ultimate existence, the ultimate energy, the ultimate entity that we are supposed to depend on in the first place. Uncertainty is a product of the need for control. The only control you have is how you choose to live your life, not even the outcome of your life. And the beauty in this is that the outcome is the product of your choices. But that outcome can be even greater than you've ever imagined when you lose control, when you stop power tripping. Because what power, or the need for power, does, and what control does, it tries to shape and it tries to mold the outcome. But constraining your life to a limited result by way of you desiring to control everything is a disservice. Because, again, you don't know what you don't know. So if you are planning to run a race in 2 minutes, you're going to train to run it in 2 minutes. But what if you could run it in 1 minute? You might say, I want to be a millionaire. So you are not only meditating on this millionaire status, but you are training yourself to become a millionaire. But what if you're supposed to be a billionaire? Yes, it is important for us to have plans, but we have to understand that spirit is the one that directs our steps. We have to understand that releasing control doesn't put you in a space of unsafety or nakedness. It actually covers you. It actually makes things so much better than what you could ever ask for or think. So you gotta stop power tripping, bro. You have to allow yourself to be put in a space of uncertainty, because when you do that, you are surrendering to a higher source. You're surrendering to something greater than you that has something better planned for you. Once we do that, once we stop power tripping, once we stop thinking that we know more than the force of life, we are able to again go back to that space of rest, trusting that there is a force, trusting that there is a spirit that is so much greater than what you could ever think up on your own, so much stronger than what you can. It gives you that ability to trust. It gives you that ability to rest. It gives you that ability to stand firm in uncertainty, trusting that all will go well. So just to recap, because I'm AKA a teacher at heart, we are speaking about dealing with the unknown, dealing with uncertainty. Tip 2, point number 1 is recognizing and acknowledging that every day is uncertain. Every day is uncertain. And when I recognized that, I was like, OMG. We could actually do this thing, because when you realize that although you set your alarm clock, something greater than your iPhone wakes you up every morning. And once we recognize that we face uncertainty in each and every single day, every single minute, every single millisecond, it gives us a space of overcoming and saying, you know what, I faced this hour not knowing what it held. I'm pretty sure I could do this week, this month, this year. And the way that we go through uncertainty is choosing how we will wait, how we will spend our time. Will we spend it in fear or will we spend it in faith? And the way to get away from spending this time of uncertainty in fear is releasing the past, is surrendering the past, is forgiving the past, even if it is yourself, and opening yourself up to something new. And then once we get through that, we then go to tip 2, point number 2, which is power tripping. We have to stop thinking we can control everything and everybody. You can't even control yourself half the time. So do not expect to be able to control unknown circumstances and results, as well as other people. The worst thing that you can ever do is try to control another human being. That is like just running into a brick wall over and over and over again. And there's beauty in that, because people come into our lives for reasons and lessons that we obviously need to learn. So if we are so caught up in trying to control how this person is and trying to control what they say, what they do, where they are, what they wear, all these other things, what they eat, you are really stunting your growth as well as that other person's. So stop power tripping. OMG, this feels so good. I'm so happy you are tuning in. Once again, this is Life Club with me, Tashima Jones. We are speaking about dealing with the unknown. How do we move through uncertainty? How do we make decisions? How do we know what the future holds? How is it that we go through and just understanding this period of uncertainty? So my first life tool, if you will, was understanding that every day is uncertain. You didn't even know you was going to be listening to me right now yesterday. You probably didn't know you was going to be listening to me an hour ago. Understand that in every single day, every single moment of every single day is truly uncertain. Because honestly, when you think about a plan, it is just a sketch of how you hope things would go. It's not concrete. A plan is just a desired sketch of how we hope things will work out. But each and every day is uncertain. And to remind yourself of this, continue to think about your birthday. Tell yourself, you know what, T? You didn't know you were going to be born on April 5th, 1983. So trust and believe that Spirit has this day covered as well. Our second life tool tip point was stop power tripping. Again, I am a recovering control freak. And part of the reason why I wanted to control things is because I was so afraid of how things would end up. Again, when you have some traumatic experiences going on in your life, whether you see somebody else go through it or you experience it personally, it can really start to build up this sense of fear and worry. And honestly, our brains are wired to protect us. If we touch a hot stove, we're going to record that in our mental Rolodex, and we're going to be sure that we don't touch that stove again. And the same is true for how we carry out our life and personal endeavors and pursuits and relationships and career and business as well. But we have to understand that trying to control things is only going to stunt your growth, and recognizing the things that we can control, because that's powerful in itself. Understanding that the only thing that I can control is how I choose to go about this very moment, this very situation. You're not called to control other people. You're not called to control the elemental forces of this world. You're not called to you don't have the power or the responsibility of making the sun come up and it's set. So releasing some control and only focusing on that which you can control. Now, our next life point, and I'm trying something different with them life points. I kind of like how it feels. It's got a good ring. Third life point is being present. Let's just take a breath on that. Being present. The present moment is really all we have when we seriously think about it. Right now is the only moment that we have. I am a mom, I'm a friend, I am a sister. But right now I am on LifeClub, so I am the host. So I can't sit here and worry about what Justice is doing or worrying about what all these other things that may be going on in the world. I only have right now, and I'm spending it with you. Yes. So being present, being in this very moment. And when you study this idea of time, you will find that there is constant motion. Literally everything is moving. That's what energy does. Energy is just a constant vibration, a constant movement, even microscopic things. Like when you look in certain things that appear to be still, when you look at the cells that are going on inside that object, things are moving. Just think about the flow of your blood and the air in your lungs. Everything is in motion. So time never really stands still, but being in the present is a flow of things. It's not getting stuck in the past. Neither is it trying to fast forward to the future. It is this present vibe. It's just this moment where it's like, I'm here, I am being, I am present. When we study time, we understand that what we see is just a slice of that movement. It's a slice of, take it like, I could think about sound waves. I can think about light. I can think about speed. I can think about space. There's just so many things that come to mind when I think about this concept. And again, it's something that I encourage you to study in your own time, because sometimes it's kind of hard to explain. But when you think about a moving object, you have to think about second 1 and second 10. And each second in between is a slice. And what we are seeing is that slice. It is constantly moving. The present always is. Oh my goodness. That's like such a hashtagable moment. The present always is. The past never is. Neither is the future. Again, the present always is. The past never is. And the future never is either. It's always the present. So anxiety is paying way too much attention to the future and what you don't see, while depression is trying to feed the past, that which has passed. So in my mind, I'm like a low-key rapper. So I do have some psychological bars, some spiritual bars. Again, anxiety is paying way too much attention to the future and what we do not see, while depression is trying to feed the past, that has passed. You must grasp this very moment by trusting in Spirit to lead the way. We have to face this moment with great zeal and gratitude, because it truly is a gift to be here. It truly is a gift to be able to experience this thing that we call life. Oh my goodness, like I'm working on a book and we're like low-key superheroes. Like just your gut alone makes you like a superhero. What I must say is that facing the present takes courage, it takes faith, and it takes a sense of firmness. It takes a sense of being planted. It takes a sense of knowing who you are, knowing what you can control, forgiving your past, trusting that your future is filled with hope and great expectation, and understanding that right now is all I have. And when you come into that reality, and when you come into that space of knowing those things, you are then able to survive this thing we call uncertainty. You are really, really able to survive the thing that you thought that you wouldn't be able to survive. I always find it funny how we can stress out, we can pray, we can boohoo, we can cry, we can try to do all those things when we want something to happen. And then the moment that it happens, we forget about the process. And just going back to our 1 minute of meditation, how if you don't take advantage of understanding the process while you are in it, you will continue to go through that cycle. You will repeat the same grade over and over and over again, because it's the process that we need to pay attention to, not necessarily the blessing or the result that comes out of it. You have to get that. You have to get that in your paradigm. You have to understand that the present moment is all that we have. You have to understand what it is that you control and what it is that you are not responsible for, and that you have to surrender to Spirit. And once you do that, that moment of uncertainty is like a South Beach vacation, because you just chilling, knowing that all is well, knowing that you have everything that you need in that present moment, and understanding that whatever is held in your future, you're being prepared for it. Again, going back to that breaking through process, you have to understand that what's happening between point A and point Z is what you really need to pay attention to. It's not getting so caught up in your beginning. It's not getting so, anxious and impatient about the end. It's about, what am I doing in this process? Because a sure way to start a new goal is to finish one. We're always setting goals. We're always moving forward. We're always going from level to level. That is like life. Just like that baby in the mother's womb. The baby doesn't stop growing once he exits the womb. It's just more growth. So we have to get in line with and get excited about this party called growth. And once you find yourself in that space, a life is literally an amazing, exhilarating experience. And the highs and lows are adding to that experience. That's why people get on roller coasters. I choose not to get on them, but people get on them because of the dips, because of the valleys, because of the mountains, because of the peaks, because of all of those things. It gets people excited, and that's how we should face every single day of life, is being excited about it, being excited about how things are going to turn out, being excited about who we're going to meet along this journey, being excited about how we're going to meet ourselves in different points of our lives, and understanding that it's all part of the process. So, speaking a little bit more about the future, because usually that's where we're heading, when in these times of uncertainty, we are heading towards the future. This is definitely a spoiler alert for Spider-Man. So I'm sorry, you might want to turn this down right now, but there is a really, really, really great picture of the future that really spoke to me when I saw the movie. So in Spider-Man, there was this dude that used technology and hollow images as a mirage to create this sense of danger and this sense of, trauma, danger. And they looked so real. Literally, there was like water. There was like this big, I don't know, water monster, water creature, whatever you want to call it. There were like all these little things happening. And people were literally freaking out over these things, as most would do if they are faced with some random being coming out of the water. And everybody was running and afraid and all these other things. But they were all controlled by images and technology and computers and all these other things. And it is so aligned and correlated to something that I've been meditating on that says, do not be carried away by hollow elemental forces appearing real, that are based on like this sense of human creation and human tradition. And sometimes that's what our future looks like. Our future looks really, really scary sometimes. It looks scary not only because of things that we may have experienced in our past, not only because we wish that we can control it. And I think that's the reality of this sense of fear that's associated with not controlling things. So understanding that piece, but also recognizing that I've never been there before. And we want, most often, we just want to be comfortable and we want to have things that are familiar to us. But again, imagine that baby coming out of that womb into this big earth with like human people. Like, I would love to go back to the first time that I saw somebody's face and see what my response was. But our future can appear to be scary. However, that is just an imagination that's rooted and grounded in trauma or in negativity or in fear. So we have to understand that we are truly the captains of our mind, and we have to demolish those negative images, those negative pictures that may flash in our eyes when they're closed, or the feelings that we get in our heart, in our chest, in our stomach, where it's like, I don't even want to face this thing. You have to demolish those things, and you have to create this foundation upon which you're going to build your thought life on. You have to create this. You have to root and ground your imagination in those things that are noble and pure and of love and of kindness and of goodness and mercy. You have to do that. You have to be on the offense. You got to be ready. Like, you got to have your game plan for how you are going to choose to come into each and every day. Are you going to start your morning with anxiety and fears of the future? Are you going to be grateful for the fact that you opened your eyes and trusting in spirit, knowing that this day is blessed, that this day is bringing you joy, is bringing you life, is bringing you good things? You and only you are able to do that. But first, you definitely have to get those images of darkness, eradicate them. You have to choose to base your perspective on those things that are good, that are of good report. You have to do that. Now, that is something that you can control. And I always say, start in a space of asking, start in a space of prayer, start in a space of meditation, and asking for the strength, for the ability to actually reimagine your life and renovate the space of your mind, and allowing yourself to be free, even in your thoughts. I recognized a few years ago that some people don't even allow themselves to dream. Not even like writing things down or starting a new business. They don't even allow their imaginations to get to that point where they can envision a dream, let alone go for it. So I encourage you to take time to really think about how you deal with this space of uncertainty. I encourage you to think about the foundation of your thought life. I encourage you to close your eyes and create a story, create a new story, reimagine your life, reimagine yourself, reimagine who you can be and what you can accomplish. This felt so good. OMG, this felt so good. I am so grateful that you chose to spend this time with me. Once again, this is Life Club with Tashima Jones. We just added some new life tools to our life kit, speaking about how we deal with the unknown and how we deal with uncertainty. And again, the teacher and me has to go over these points before I sign off. Point 1, understand that every day is uncertain. Every day is uncertain. And understanding that once we are okay with that uncertainty, we are able to move forward. Point number 2, we have to stop power tripping, let it go, release it, understand the things that you can control and do it to the fullest, and the rest, leaving it up to spirit. And last but not least, being present, recognizing that this is the only moment that we have, so we might as well enjoy it. Thank you so much for tuning in. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you are here with me. And for that, I am truly grateful. You can find me at tashimajones.com. All of my social media and contact information can be found there. Remember your greatness. Talk soon. I am Tashima Jones, and you've been listening to Life Club. Thank you for tuning in.